Tonight on Lowdown, we'll go backstage to the 303 concert held recently here at the UCM campus.
You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look at the 48-hour film festival and the students who participated.
And later, we'll stop by here at the KMOS TV studios to talk to some producers about their Emmy nod.
All this and more coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I'm Brianna Blocker.
And I'm Ronjanae Hill. Thanks for joining us this evening as we continue to delve into all the cool things happening here at UCM.
Speaking of, Central Missouri held its annual volunteer fair a few weeks ago. Don't worry if you missed it. I stepped in to get all the details.
UCM Filmmakers and Actors Coalition also had their 48-hour film competition. Brock Masters was there to capture all the movie-making fun. UCM also hosted an All Lives Matter panel mediated by the man himself, President Ambrose.
The Volunteer Fair is an event put on by the university to help students get involved on and off campus. With well over 20 community partners that come on board, students are given a chance to be more active.
Today is our volunteer fair. It's a great opportunity for students, faculty, staff to learn how to get involved in our community and help others. We want them to sign up with our community partners that have come to campus today, and they're telling about their volunteer opportunities and ways to get involved.
Kathy explains how well her organization and UCM are integrated.
We have been here for as long as the volunteer fair has been in existence because we're very integrated with the students and rely on them for volunteers for almost all of our activities.
Student Matthew Martinez talks about the organizations he has volunteered for.
So I volunteered for a few nonprofits last semester, and it was, I would say, my best part of my university experience thus far.
Christy believes both students and faculty benefit from the volunteer fair.
We do feel that the students have received this very well, and their faculty and staff encourage them to attend. We put it out on Facebook, we do it over Textcaster, we promote it via flyers, handouts, just any way that we can get the word out. Email, newsletters, you name it, it's out there.
Kathy expresses the needs of her organization and how students are unaware.
Yeah, a lot of students don't know anything about what we do or what the opportunities are there or what our needs are. We have a lot of needs for coaches and officials, for particularly youth sports, and this is a really good venue for that.
Matthew says one should selflessly give.
There's few better feelings than selflessly giving, and maybe it is selfish at its root, but you know, raising money and watching the tears of joy and watching actual lives being changed, that's the reason we're at college, right?
Christy emphasizes the importance of giving back.
The one thing I would like to say is get involved, help others. It looks great on your resume, it gives you a good feeling of helping someone.
Kathy hopes to get more student volunteers.
So I'm excited. I'm hoping, like I said, to get some students interested in what we're doing and give them some opportunities to be involved with youth and senior citizens and the community at large.
Matthew encourages students to get up, get out, and get involved.
We're not here to sit in class all day. That's not the point of university. The real learning happens outside of the classroom. So get out of the dorm, get out of the classroom, and give back.
My name is Brianna Blocker, reporting for Lowdown.
Well, Ryan, it's time.
The UCM Filmmakers and Actors Coalition is an organization on the University of Central Missouri campus that crosses over with both UCM's theater and digital media departments. They make films as well as discuss them. One of their big events that recently took place was their annual semester 48-hour film festival. Vice President Mason Potter tells us what the Film Fest is.
48-Hour Film Fest is a festival that the Filmmakers and Actors Coalition puts on once a semester to just bring in all their members and all make a bunch of films in 48 hours.
To get a better idea of what the process is and how it works, Potter gives us a breakdown of making a film in 48 hours.
So the 48-Hour Film Fest starts with you choosing a genre and a prop, and sometimes we do a specific line you have to have, or sometimes we, well, this time in particular, we had to have a central conflict that everyone incorporated into their films. So we're picking all of the genres and props, and then we will immediately start writing your scripts, and then you'll go into filming either that night or the next day. Then you'll edit your entire project, and you have 48 hours to do it.
While this seems like a lot to accomplish in 48 hours, Potter explains what is so beneficial about the 48-hour film festival.
The biggest benefit of participating in the 48-hour film fest would have to be gaining experience. Not only do you get things that you could put on your demo reel, but you also get the experience from people who have done this before, who are passing down tricks that they've learned maybe from past 48 hours. I know that I've learned a lot from just figuring things out on my own and like what works with the camera. There's only so much you can do in a classroom setting.
The Filmmakers and Actors Coalition will be screening the films on October 20th at 5 p.m. in Wood 100. This is Brock Masters reporting for Lowdown.
With all the recent killings of civilians, particularly African Americans, due to the police, students Brianna Blocker and Arissa Calvert decided to plan a week of events so students, faculty, and staff could be aware of the issues challenging the current state of this country and how those issues affect this university as well. The purpose of their week of events is to shed some light into the All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter controversy, which is currently a large topic of discussion on all social media outlets.
So this summer, with the death of the two African American men and the police officers that died this summer, they kind of had this debate about Blue Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. And it raised a lot of controversy on social media where people were kind of going back and forth in a hostile way. I found this to be very disturbing because a lot of my friends were posting about it, and like I was tired of people just kind of talking about it. I wanted them to actually be the change that they wanted to see. So I kind of wrote out a few events just playing around, seeing if it would, be a good idea. And I sent it to a few people, Dr. Gillis, Alicia Bowman, Arissa Calvert, all a part of Africana Studies. After talking to them, they said that it needed some touching up, but they helped me kind of bring that vision to light. And now, I realized that being at UCM, I have faced a lot of diversity, segregation really on this campus, and I wanted to bring diversity to our campus, and I thought what better way to do it than to kind of open up the dialogue to something that has already been kind of going on already.
The purpose of the forum was to allow a panel of students of multiple races to answer questions about these recent events given in their own perspective. This panel was designed to be an open dialogue discussion, so any questions from the audience to the panel were very welcomed. The students were asked to be as honest as possible.
We decided that we would like to have a diverse panel because we wanted to bring the story from all angles. We wanted to get the story from black students, from white students, and also from the police officers. And facilitated by President Ambrose, I think that was just the perfect way to get it out. Everyone can hash out their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions. In a way, we have a safe environment that everyone can really just enjoy and learn something from. The panel, they were very honest, they were very open. I do believe that some of them might have been a little hesitant a little bit, but I do appreciate the fact that they all were very honest in their answers and they truly said what was on their mind. So that's what made it an awesome panel.
Arissa and Brianna hope that this panel discussion will be the start of a new way to cultivate diversity amongst the UCM campus. With providing a safe place for students to freely express themselves, hopefully there will be a change amongst peers and how they interact. This is Brianna Dalton reporting for Lowdown.
There will be another 48-hour film competition held in the spring if they got your creative juices flowing. Just contact UCM, Filmmakers and Actors Coalition for more details.
And it's great to see President Ambrose taking the time to sit down and talk about issues facing our students. Now let's talk about another event held here every year at UCM, the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony.
We'll sit down with Cedric King, a wounded warrior and a member of the elite Army Rangers.
September 11th is always a very difficult time for Americans. People lost their lives and the nation was struck with tragedy. All over the country, people pay their respects in remembrance of the many killed that day. Recently on UCM campus, Coordinator of Veteran Services Delilah Nichols organized an event to help commemorate the terrible acts that were performed on that infamous day.
The significance of the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony is that we never forget the terrorist attacks of 9/11/01. And as a nation, we were forever affected in the face of those who survived and tell the stories. And the number of people that were affected by that terrorist attack is significant. And it's important that we as a nation remember that freedom isn't free.
With the event taking place on a campus, not all students remember the actual 9/11 event. Nichols tells us why it's important for us to learn about that date.
Our current students did not experience 9/11. Maybe they were, a baby or a toddler and may not understand the impact. But as far-reaching as that attack was in the textbooks, continues to be in the news, the lives that were affected worldwide, I think it's important that we never forget and that we bring to the attention of our current student population the significance of that incident, and once again to teach that we need to be very grateful for our freedom, we need to be vigilant, and we need to have respect for those who serve in those positions that protect us.
9/11 happened in 2001, but today the nation faces a different divide. Nichols tells who was also honored at the event.
This year, I felt it very important to go beyond just remembering 9/11, in that with the attacks on our law enforcement, I think it's important that we do reflect honor and respect for our first responders. And as a call of respect, at the end of the ceremony, I have something special planned where we will be recognizing our current professionals in the law enforcement, firefighter, military role, as well as our current students enrolled in those first responder emergency management type positions.
The event was a great time for Americans to come together and pay their respects. Even though the victims are gone, it is good to know that they will never be forgotten. This is Brock Masters, reporting for Lowdown.
Highly sought-after inspiration speaker Cedric King was welcomed with open arms by the University of Central Missouri. Master Sergeant King presented the Ike Skelton Lecture. UCM President Jock Ambrose opened the presentation.
One of those meaningful assets of being an advantaged community is this Ike Skelton Lecture.
King states that we all go through difficult situations.
Partly about some of the things that I've gone through, but while I'm talking, I need you to understand that it's just not me that have gone through difficult situations. It's all of us.
He encourages his audience to always get back up.
First time they were losing me, they had to amputate one of the legs. And since that didn't work, they had to amputate the other one. And during that time, when she was explaining it to me, it was almost like I did not believe it had happened. Now I know you may be saying, well, how could you do that? How could that be? Right now I have something called phantom pains. So I have phantom sensations. And phantom sensations make me feel like the same way that you feel with your toes. You can wiggle your toes right now.
King discusses taking steady steps in life.
You can't expect to get to the next level in life until you exhaust all that you have. You can't expect to get to a better place in life until you're tested fully on the level that you are right now. You can't just jump from 1 to 10. It'd kill you. You can't just take the kindergartner and put her in 12th grade. She get discouraged. Life gives us what we can handle on our level.
I'm Gareth Greenfield, reporting for Lowdown.
My life is turning into an episode of MASH. This is crazy.
What a great event to remember the immense tragedy and sacrifice that took place on that fateful day.
And I hope you enjoyed that sit down with Cedric King. Such an inspirational story. Let's switch gears now and talk about music. UCM's fall concert series was held here just a few weeks ago, which featured Artist 303, Chevy Woods, and Marcus Johnson. And I got the opportunity to go backstage and center stage with these great performers.
We'll also take a jog to the Family Weekend events where I got to get the scoop on the color run. Students packed the university's multi-purpose building this past September for the continuation of UCM's concert series, which featured rap artist Chevy Woods,
pop duo 303, and jazz musician Marcus Johnson. We got the opportunity to meet up with not one or two, but all three acts before the show, and they shared with me how they got their start.
Rewinded back to 2003 in a basement in Colorado. A couple guys met in a physics class at the University of Colorado and realized they had similar musical interests and started making music.
In the neighborhood, I used to rap at like cookouts, basketball tournaments with my friends and stuff of that nature. And
performing for colleges can be hard, but Chevy Woods and 303 fill me in on their success when it comes to getting the crowd involved and why they love performing for colleges.
when I do stuff for, colleges and things like that, I try to make it the party set so that it's never like a down moment. It's always just up and everybody's just having fun.
We love playing for colleges. I mean, we went to the University of Colorado, so we kind of had the experience of going to a big state school and had so much fun. I think our music lends itself to rockin' parties.
On the other hand, Marcus Johnson prides the university on the opportunities they give to students.
The fact that we're playing with UCM students from the jazz band, it's awesome. That gives them an opportunity to see the things that I saw when I was in school and growing up and needed to see in order to understand that you can have a career in music. You can have a career following your passion.
Hopefully our music now represents a little bit of growth, but not too much, man. We want to keep that young attitude. And it's, it's always been about having fun. It's always been about not taking things too seriously.
Not taking things too seriously, having a little fun, and ending the concert on a high note, 303 invited me on stage to help them with their single, My First Kiss. Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Ranjanae Hill.
Our UCM theater department performed Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. To get an inside look, we caught up with two of the performers to see what their experience has been like.
I auditioned and started doing small black box performances over in Nickerson, and then I started getting cast in main stages.
I've learned more than I ever could have imagined, and I get to tell stories every day that need to be told.
After gathering all of these talented actors, the next step is preparation for the show.
You first have a table read, wherein all the actors gather together and read through the script and talk through text analysis, character analysis, plot analysis. So that way when we go into rehearsing and getting up on our feet, we have a comprehensive idea of what the show is and what we're trying to tell with the show. So from that point, we go into blocking, which is simply you stand here and do this kind of thing.
It's a very communal environment, if I could explain it that way, in that it brings people from all different talents and backgrounds into like one collaborative art form.
For Chris and Emmy, what is it that makes all of this hard work well worth the labor?
The feeling that it gives you. If you know the term like runner's high, it's a lot like a runner's high. It's exhilarating and exciting and fulfilling.
Other art forms, you can't really like stand there and actually get the immediate response. Like if you're a painter, you have to like hear about a review later on, or if you're a writer, you don't really know inside the mind of the person how it really affected them. But like when you're on the stage and you hear the reaction, you see the audience responding. That's probably one of my favorite parts about it.
In closing, we asked what they were looking forward to the most about this performance.
I think like revealing that Shakespeare can be funny, and that, it's not just some sort of like English class assignment. It's so much more than that, and that the stuff that he writes is still hilarious.
I'm interested to see how that resonates with the audience, whether they're gonna get the humor or they're gonna get the subtle jokes here and there, and blatant jokes for that matter.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Jacob Clark.
The Color Run is an annual event held on Family Weekend to get everyone active while having fun.
We want to have an event that they can all come out here, be a part of, and have fun. So we used to do just a 5K, but we thought just a few years ago, color runs were really blowing up. So we said, hey, everybody loves the color run. Why don't we do it? You know what? We can do it. So we decided to do it, and every year it's been a great time.
Kevin tells us about the process of putting together the Color Run.
It is a big process. The first thing we need to do is secure the paint. So we have to have as many pounds as we think we're going to need. We have to get shirts. We give out free shirts. And the biggest thing, the most difficult thing, is getting volunteers to help. So some of my intramural staff members help. We get volunteers from other parts of campus. So I have about 23 volunteers, and they help with the registration process, and they help with throwing the paint.
Chris, one of this year's volunteers, explained the difference between participating and helping out.
I think the volunteer, you get a different aspect of everything. Like being on the planning side is a little different than on the running side, and I think it's something I really needed to do.
Participant Nick expressed how the color run benefits the community.
The way it helps Warrensburg, I think it brings people together mostly. People see everybody out here running together and just brings people together. Good community event.
3, 2, 1.
I'm Brianna Blocker, reporting for Lowdown.
For our last story this evening, we go behind the scenes here at KMOS and talk about their recent Emmy nomination.
That's right. KMOS TV Presents Missouri Life Columbia was nominated for a regional Emmy. We sat down with some of the producers who created it. Let's take a look.
This summer, our very own station here at KMOS was nominated for a regional Emmy Award for the show Missouri Life. I sat down with Roy Millen, the production coordinator here, and asked him to tell me a little bit about the Emmy-nominated show.
So the premise of the show is we basically go from town to town. Each episode revolves around a different town. In the first season of Missouri Life, we went to Columbia, Warsaw, Herman, Lexington, Lebanon, Macon, and Warrensburg, and then we had a best of episode on top of that. We were very proud of the shows that we did last season. It was our first time doing it though, so we really didn't have a whole lot of expectations winning awards, but we went ahead and submitted one of the episodes. And we're very excited to find out that we were nominated. There's only 2 other shows in that category, so we're hoping that our chances are good, but we're not going to count our chickens.
With the great success of the first season, KMOS's program producer, Christy Millen, told me more about what to expect on the upcoming Season 2.
Season 2 of Missouri Life will be a lot like Season 1. We are traveling to 5 new towns this season, and we added a segment called Missouriana, which is little trivia facts about the town, kind of did you know kind of facts, and a cameo segment, which is an interview with a performer or an artist, and then a performance and a demonstration of their craft.
And I also asked Roy and Christy a little more about what they enjoyed about the show and why you should tune in as well.
Really, the funnest part of Missouri Life is actually just being out on the road and getting to meet all these different people, go to these different events, and getting to taste the food from across the state. There's a lot of hidden treasures in this state, and it's just fun getting out and finding them.
My favorite part about shooting Missouri Life is getting to travel around the state and meet new people, hear their stories, learn new things that I never even knew existed, possibly.
Well, we hope people will watch KMOS TV and Missouri Life for the same reasons. They want to learn more about their state, they want to be proud of their state and all the things that it has to offer.
Hey there, kids. What is Tim trying now? It looks like Tim is trying to clean his shoe by just using water and his thumb. Oh, Tim, you knucklehead. What Tim should do is use that conveniently placed tube of toothpaste right behind him to clean his shoes. All he has to do is apply the toothpaste to his finger, rub it into his shoe, wipe it off with a wet rag, and abracadabra, his shoe is clean. Just look at that before and after. Tune in next time to see what Tim will do wrong next.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have tonight. But don't fear, the show in its entirety and each individual segment can be found on our KMOS TV YouTube page.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Ronjanae Hill.
And I'm Brianna Blocker.
Good night. You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look of the 48-hour film festival and the students who participated. Okay, well, that was really weird how I said that.
We'll go backstage to the 303 concert held recently here at the UCM campus.
You'll also get it behind the scenes. I'm sorry.
Hello, and welcome to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. Your fair lap a few weeks ago. The opportunity is going to. Wow. Details.
And the UCM.
Oh, God.
Oh, sorry. We continue to delve into all the cool things happening here at UCM.
Speaking of, don't worry if you missed it. Dang, I was so close.
I know, that's the worst.
All the details.
When you get like a whole paragraph and then you mess up like the last 2 words and you're like,
that's the story of my life though.
Here at UCM.
What?
Speaking of it, an All Lives Matter panel mediated by the man himself, President Ambrose.
Got it.
Yay, after the 15 pounds. Okay, what's next?